Hey, what's up, DJs? So today I want to do a quick review of this little guy, the Mackie Thump Go. Let's talk about it. So right here in front of me I have the Mackie Thump Go. I've actually had it for some time. And there's a couple things that I really like about this speaker, and there's a couple things that I don't really like about this speaker. And I've had it for a while. We're kind of getting to the point in my gig logs where you're actually going to begin seeing this speaker at some of the ceremonies that I do. I've been playing catch up with a lot of the gig logs. I've just been uploading them into a folder until I have an opportunity to edit them, and we're kind of getting to that point. So you're going to start seeing this pop up a lot more on my channel now. So I wanted to do a quick review now that I've had it for a couple months and I've done numerous events with it. I kind of have an idea of what it is good for, what it isn't so good for, and I want to talk about that before you begin seeing it on the channel. So first off, let me talk about why it is that I wanted to invest in the speaker. So originally I've been using the Roland BA330 as a battery-powered ceremony speaker for quite some time, and I love that speaker. It is a really great speaker. There are a couple drawbacks to it, and ultimately, it's originally intended as a busking speaker. So it was intended for street performers, buskers, people that are performing on the streets. It takes 8 AA batteries. It has a 6-channel mixer, and it's a phenomenal speaker, especially with the mixer built in. However, once I got into photo booth and I knew that there were going to be a lot more events where a subwoofer was needed, I knew the Roland was going to be problematic. It's big, it's bulky, it's heavier, and I knew that if I ever had an event where I was going to need my main system, a subwoofer, the photo booth, and 2 speakers for ceremony, it wasn't going to be doable. I wouldn't be able to fit all of that into my town and country along with 2 Rolands because of the size of it. And hauling the Rolands to the ceremony site is a pretty big ordeal. They're heavy speakers. They aren't terribly light like a lot of the new speakers. Now, a massive reservation I have had with getting some of the newer battery-powered speakers, especially the ones that run on lithium-ion batteries, is anybody who knows lithium-ion battery knows that they degrade over time. Each charge that you get out of a lithium-ion battery degrades the lifespan of that battery. So that was one of the main hesitations I had. And I didn't want to, especially with all of the double weddings back to back that I do, I didn't want to have something else that I had to haul into the house after a long gig, charge it up while I'm asleep or charge it that night, and then haul it back out to the van. So that was one of the main hesitations, but let me show you this. So one thing that really got me excited about this speaker is this guy here. So this is the replaceable battery for the Mackie Thump Go, and you can see that it's got a little 5-volt input right there along with a charging indicator light, and this is actually the charger that comes with the batteries when you purchase the replacement batteries. So one thing I really like about this is if I need to charge up the speaker, I can actually just charge up the battery and now it's charging, right? So that actually gets rid of one of the hesitations I had, because instead of having to haul the entire battery in after an event, I could just make sure to have the second battery charged up and good to go. And in order to swap it out, you can actually swap it out in the field. So this is the battery port, and you could see that it's just these plastic screws that kind of hold it on. And I can actually unscrew this out in the field, either using a key. I've kind of stripped it out. You know, you can literally unscrew this out in the field. I actually keep this little guy with the Mackie, and then I just put it in there, unscrew it, and then that literally allows me to swap it out in the field. So that was one of the biggest benefits to getting the speaker. And it's a sharp looking speaker. I really like it. Now, on the back side, you've got 2 inputs and you've got 1 throughput, 1 output. You have a couple different voicing modes for music, speech, monitor, subwoofer. If you're going to be running a subwoofer with it, you do have an outdoor mode, which is actually pretty cool. As far as what it does, I honestly have not been able to really tell a difference between using the outdoor mode and not. You do have a music ducking, which if you have music playing and somebody speaks on the microphone, then the music will quiet down, which is actually pretty helpful to have during ceremonies. And then you have a feedback eliminator mode, where it'll kind of eliminate the feedback. It does have Bluetooth, so you can connect a device via Bluetooth, and you can actually link 2 speakers via Bluetooth, which is really cool. Now, in terms of ceremonies, I haven't really used the Bluetooth for the ceremonies. Usually I'll just plug in the laptop or the tablet, whatever I'm using right here, and there's a reason for that. Couple things that I really like about this speaker. It sounds phenomenal, especially for a ceremony speaker. The music gets more than loud enough to do even bigger size ceremonies with a single speaker. It is perfect for a remote cocktail speaker, so after the ceremony we can easily reposition it, patch in either our X5 wireless transmitter receiver or our wireless receiver, send a signal to it wirelessly. And the freaking weight of this baby, man, it is so light. It literally, I'm pretty sure that a single one of my moving heads is heavier than this entire speaker. It's small, it's compact. It doesn't take up too much space at all, and we actually used it last night at an event as a sound monitor. And the app is really cool too. So if you can connect your phone via Bluetooth and not send any audio to it, and actually use your phone as kind of a control for this speaker, which is really helpful if you have it as a remote cocktail speaker, because you can just connect your phone via Bluetooth and then control the levels from halfway across the venue. Another thing I love about this speaker is this. I mean, I love the fact that I can charge the battery without it having to be inside of the speaker. A lot of the other speakers, like the Bose S1 Pro, as far as I know, in order to charge the batteries, they have to be inside of the speaker, so you have to transport the entire speaker in order to charge it. And you can just plug this in and it'll charge the battery that's inside of it. So you really have both options, and if you don't want to bring in the speaker, you can just do it that way. Now this stays with the speaker, and then if I have an event back to back, I just make sure that I have this charged, and then we'll usually plug it in when we get to the venue, which works out pretty well. This is the battery indicator light, so you could see right now that the battery is low. We actually used it for 2 events and it worked fine. Overload basically just means that it is clipping. Now, a couple things I don't like about this speaker is it only has a single mic level input, and that is here on channel 1. And the thing I don't like about that, if I have my mic receiver hooked up to here for the officiant, one thing we'll do a lot is we don't always need a microphone for the ceremonies. And if we don't need a microphone for the ceremonies, we're not going to set one up. But I always have one with me at the ceremonies in case somebody comes up and says, oh, you need to make an announcement. I always make sure that if there's any announcements I need to make during the ceremony, I kind of know going into it. But sometimes there's a last minute announcement, maybe the officiant isn't going to make it, whatever. But I always have a microphone with me at the ceremony, so I could just patch it in quickly. I have it standing by ready. I could just plug it in and go. With this speaker, unless I unplug the wireless microphone and plug that in, which is kind of, I guess I could do that now that I think about it. But it'd be nice to just be able to plug it in. The Roland has a buttload of inputs, so I could just plug it in, but with that has additional weight. Another thing that I feel like I've noticed with this speaker and makes me a little paranoid is that I feel like the even setting it up mic level, the receiver is still pretty quiet. It doesn't get nearly as loud as the music does on this speaker. The music gets super loud. It's got a lot of low end. It sounds great. My mic receiver, though, I get a lot more volume running it through an external mixer, and I feel like even when I turn it all the way up, and I have the gain on my mic all the way up, I have the volume on my receiver all the way up, it still lacks a little bit. So especially if there's a lot of people, a lot of times I'll feel better just running an external mixer anyways. One, to address the microphone situation I mentioned if I have to plug in a wired microphone really quickly, and two, just to get a little bit more volume or headroom with the wireless mic receiver. I've done a number of ceremonies with just this speaker and a receiver, so sometimes I feel like I'm overthinking it, but I don't know. If there's a lot of people and they're really spread out, sometimes I just feel better hooking up that external mixer. And in which case, you'll see in a few gig logs, what we do is we run the Halo bolt on the receiver, and then I just have a Paxis battery pack that I plug into the mixer, and it works out perfectly. One thing that does kind of annoy me is, if I found this out on the first event I brought it out with me on, is that if you connect a device via Bluetooth, it does not translate that signal through the output or through the throughput on the back of the speaker. So it does not send the signal out of here. I found that out because the first event I brought it out with me on, I was gonna test out the Bluetooth. I actually needed 2 speakers, so I ran the Thump Go as the main speaker and then sent the signal out of that throughput to my Roland BA330. Although the Roland was receiving the microphone input, it was not receiving the music when I had it connected via Bluetooth. I actually had to plug in a wire and get the signal to the Mackie using a cable, which is one reason why I still haven't fully switched to Bluetooth, because if I'm working with a videographer, it really isn't that big of a deal. A lot of videographers don't really want the music. They just want the speeches or they want the spoken word. But if you work with the videographer and they think they're gonna get everything, they don't get everything, that might be problematic. I mean, overall, the sound quality on this guy is really freaking good. I can honestly usually get like 2 ceremonies and even a bit of cocktail with a single battery charge with this. There have been a few events that I've taken it out and I have used it for ceremony and then repositioned it for cocktail hour and then didn't have a chance to charge it, and just to see, you know, ran the same battery on it for the next ceremony. I had this guy standing by fully charged, but it worked out perfectly. I wouldn't have to change out the battery. It wouldn't turn yellow until probably 20 minutes into the cocktail hour, and then I could make a judgment call whether I wanted to switch this out or let it run, and it works out really well. I mean, it's a phenomenal sounding speaker. It's small, it's light, you know, it doesn't cost too much, and it's just a great speaker. So I'm also going to inject a couple videos of me using it during some ceremonies, so you can also kind of get a feel for how it sounds. As far as the outdoor mode goes, I have not noticed a difference between using outdoor mode and not using outdoor mode. So I honestly couldn't really tell you what it does. Maybe I'll look it up after recording this video and put some text on screen kind of explaining it, but I have no idea what that outdoor mode is for and what the heck it does. But overall, it's an awesome speaker. I really like it for ceremonies. I'm going to continue using it. I might even get a second one because the size of it, the weight of it, the sound of it, it's got more of that full PA sound that I was not getting with the Roland. So I might even pick up a second one. But yeah, that is the Mackie Thump Go. If you have any questions, leave them down below in the comments section. If you own this speaker, tell me how you feel about using it with your mic receiver. Do you ever feel like it's too quiet? Do you feel like it has just the right volume? And if you like this type of content, hit that like button, turn on notifications so you don't miss any of my future videos. And if you're interested in growing your DJ business, click the link in the description below to join our Facebook community, DJ Marketing School, where I am interviewing different industry professionals and experts and figuring out what works for growing our DJ business. That's it for this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one.